morning. So this week we're going to look at different calculations and different measurement types of topics. So there is a little bit of math. So because of that, and I know so much of you have math anxiety, we're going to cut back on what we're going to do this week just because I want you to be able to have the time to practice and feel really comfortable with the things that we're doing. So in Chapter 2, Section 1 is all about the metric system. The metric system was first adopted in France in 1795 after the French Revolution. The government asked scientists to look into replacing thousands of different traditional measurement systems with one that could unify the country. So basically they just wanted one system of measurement that everybody would use. The meter was actually developed by measuring 1/10,000,000th of the quadrant of the Earth's circumference, so going around it, running from the North Pole to the equator through Paris. This new unit equaled about 39 inches and was called the meter, and that is going to be where the meter or the metric system is going to originate. The system international units or the SI units is based off of that original meter, and it is currently the official measurement for almost all countries. It uses more or less the same, the same metric units. And then there's also the English unit, which we use, and we are the only country that actually uses that. So, and that's going to be the thing that you're familiar with. So if you're looking here at metric versus English units versus the SI units, when we're measuring length, the metric unit is meters. We would say feet or a foot, and then the SI unit is also a meter. So volume is metrics, liters, so like a 2 liter of pop or a liter of water. Quart would be the English unit, quart, gallons, pints, and then the SI unit is meters cubed. And then weighing mass, so your weight, the metric unit is grams, the English unit is pounds, and the SI unit is kilograms, so just a bigger version of the metric unit. So you are obviously more familiar with quarts, foots, pounds, but for our purposes, we're really going to be focusing on grams, liters, and meters. The problem with the SI units is that they're like really big, so for our purposes, they're not super useful, so we'll stick with the metric system. So the metric unit consists of a base unit, and that unit is based on what we actually measure, and it represents the number 1. And then all other factors along the metric scale are going to be factors of 10. So the base unit when we're talking about measuring length is meters. The base unit when we talk about measuring volume, or how much something is in a given space, is liters. And in terms of measuring mass or weight, that would be grams. So depending on what you're measuring will determine what base unit of 1 you will use. So here's the metric ladder. Okay, kilos are up here. They represent 1,000 and are written with a K. Hecto, written with the H, represents hundreds. Deca, DA, represents 10. Here's our base unit, so that would be meters, liters, or grams. Deci represents 1/10 and just a D, so be careful between these two because they both have D's, but deca is a DA. Centi, which represents 1/100th, and milli, which represents 1/1000th. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do conversions. One is an easy visual way to do it, and one is a more mathematical way to do it. Use the one that you're familiar with, that you're most comfortable with to help you. Okay, so this is the visual way to transfer between the different units. Okay, so what you're going to do is here's the ladder, so kilo, hecto, deca, here's your base unit, deci, centi, milli, just like on the last slide. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to look and you're going to see, let's say that the directions here say we have 547 millimeters. So we're going to be down here, okay? And we want to go to meters. So we're going to go up, and as we're going up, we're moving to the left, right? We're moving to the left, that direction. So you're going to then move your decimal place also to the left for every step. So 1, 2, 3. We had to go up 3 steps. We're moving in a leftward direction, so we would take the decimal point here in 547.8 and we would move it 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3. And the decimal place would then go there. So the answer would be 0.5478 meters. So 547.8 millimeters equals 0.5478 meters. So let's just try this one more time just to show you again. So we started out with millimeters, so we're on this step, okay? We're going to go up 1, 2, 3 to get to the units we want, which was meters, okay? So we're going to take that decimal point and go, because we're moving towards the left, we're going to move the decimal place to the left. 1, 2, 3, and now the decimal place goes there, and you end up with 0.47. Now this works in the other direction too. So let's say we have 8.67 hectograms. Okay, so if you're looking on here, we're on this step up here, right? And we want to go down to centigrams, which is down here. So as you go down the ladder, you're moving to the right, and thus you will move your decimal place also to the right. Okay, so here we started hectogram. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. We're moving towards the right. So we would then move this decimal place 4 places to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your decimal point there and then fill in the zeros. So 8.67 hectograms equals 86,700 centigrams. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So here's the second way that you can figure these out using math. Okay, we still have our steps here. Okay, kilo, hecto, deca, liter, meter, gram, deci, centi, milli. That hasn't changed. That will always be the same. But as you go up the ladder, you would multiply your number, you would divide your number by 10 for each step. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I have a number 9.87 meters, and I want to know how many kilometers that is. So if you look back here on your ladder, you are going to start with liters, okay, and you would take 9.87 times, divide that by 10, divide that by 10, and then divide that by 10. And your answer then would be 0.00987, right? So we took 9.87, we divided by 10 for the first step, and that's what we got. Okay, we moved that over here. We had another step, so we divided this number by 10. That gave you this one. We divided this number by 10 also for our third step, and here's what your answer would have been. Or, if you think about it, you just count how many steps you are again and move the decimal place. So either way, either if you were just remember the direction or if you remember the math, you're going to be able to convert these. And again, this works the opposite direction too. So let's say I have 8.46 decameters, and I want to know how many centimeters that is. Okay, so I'm going down the ladder, so I'm going to multiply this number by 10 for every step, right? So if I'm starting with deci, right, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 3 steps. Okay, so I would take 8.46. I'm multiplying this time because I'm going down by 10. That would give me 84.6. Then I would take 84.6 times 10. That's my second step. That gives me 846. I would take 846 times 10. That's my last step. And that would give me 8,460. So there would be 8,460 centimeters in 8.46 decameters. Okay, so if you're going up the ladder, you're going to divide by 10 for every step. If you go down the ladder, you're going to multiply by 10 for every step. You can use whichever way you want, whichever way is easy for you. Some of you might be visual learners. Some of you might like the multiplying and dividing by 10 as well. All right, so I want you to try this practice problem on your own. 6.75 grams equals how many kilograms? So either using method 1 or using method 2. So pause this video, complete the problem, and then start it up again, and I'll go through the answer. Okay, if we're using the directional unit, here's where we're starting. Let's get my handy dandy marker out here. Okay, we're starting at a gram, so we're starting at a base unit, and we're going to kilograms. So, and we're moving in the left direction, 1, 2, 3 steps. So therefore, we would move our decimal point 3 places to the left, 1, 2, 3, fill in the zeros, and so our answer would be 0.00675 kilograms is in 0.675 grams. If we're using method 2, we would start with our base unit. We know that we're going up 3 steps, and we're going up, so we're going to divide, so 1, 2, 3. So we would then take this number and we would divide it by 10 3 times. So 6.75 divided by 10 equals 0.675. 0.675 divided by 10 equals 0.0675. And 0.0675 divided by 10 for our third step equals 0.00675. Okay. Now, if you look at here, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So you could shorten this step up by taking 0.675 and just dividing it by 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10 in order to get the same answer. But if you do it this way, then you're kind of counting your steps. If you're confident, then for sure use the shortcut. So we got the same answers for both problems. Both methods work. All right. So that's kind of the metric system and how we move between the different units that are in the metric system. If you have questions or you are not understanding something, for sure watch the other video. Some people explain things better than I do. And if you still have questions, then stop. Email me right away so that we can get through this before you move on to the next section of the textbook. Have a great day.